Captain America, Brave New World. Captain Falcon, Brave New World. Spoiler-free review. All right, let's get right into it. Spoiler-free, like I said, no pussyfooting around. This movie is not good. In fact, I don't even know why this movie exists, or a good reason as to why it exists. As a stand-alone, self-contained film, or for the benefit of the broader cinematic universe, I don't see a very good reason. Compared to the other MCU movies, I think it fits somewhere with the bottom of the bunch, but it is definitely not the worst that the bottom barrel has to offer. In terms of, let's just say, a standalone film production and execution, I do believe it is better than Thor: The Dark World, Ant-Man: Quantumania, Thor: Love and Thunder, Captain Marvel, Eternals, and for the record, I have not seen The Marvels or Wakanda Forever, so take that as you may. The movie as a whole was stale, boring, cliche, predictable at many turns, and hit some of the same familiar notes that we have seen in previous Marvel films. Things such as making what would be hard decisions for many, but easy ones for someone as Cap, mind control, heavy exposition, puppeteer, bad guys, villains, so on and so forth. Even the climactic fight scene that everybody was waiting for was ho-hum and was fairly predictable as far as resolve goes. Again, we've seen it all before, folks. We've seen it all before. CGI in the movie wasn't horrible, but there were some parts that were clearly green screen. If I'm going to be honest, this movie did nothing new, did nothing exciting, had bland dialogue, and in my opinion was largely forgettable. I will never watch this movie again. I won't even YouTube fight scenes out of boredom on a random day 2 years after the movie came out. Not happening. I felt like this movie could have been plugged into another season of some Disney Plus Falcon and Winter Soldier spinoff or something like that. And I feel like this movie would have been largely the same as just a Falcon movie without attaching Captain America to it. I stand on my notion, I stand on my belief that I believe they should have retired the shield, retired the character of Captain America with Steve Rogers' departure and retirement. I guess with that statement, I can segue into some of the character talk. So we hop into the movie with Sam Wilson as Cap. And this is not a spoiler, but he has already been Cap for quite some time, but an undisclosed amount of time at that. Listen, Anthony Mackie as Captain America is not it. Sorry, not sorry. Nice guy, not a bad actor, but he does not have the charisma to take the mantle of Captain America. There is nothing there. Blank. He does not have the intangibles and the skills and does not make you believe that he is Captain America, that he can be the voice and leader of the Avengers should they go that direction.
Call it, Captain.
All right, listen up. Until we can close that portal, our priority is containment. Barton, I want you on that roof, eyes on everything, call out patterns and strays. Stark, you got the perimeter. Anything gets more than 3 blocks out, you turn it back or you turn it to ash. Can you give me a lift?
Right. Better clench up, Legolas.
Thor, you gotta try and bottleneck that portal. Slow him down. You got the lightning. Light the bastards up. You and me, we stay here on the ground. We keep the fighting here. And Hulk. Smash.
The whole time during the movie, they are trying to convince me that this guy is Cap. And I'm like, no. Not buying it. He's Falcon. He's a sidekick character. And maybe this is the beginning of a character arc for him in this role. But either way, it's not believable. And I don't think I could ever believe it as much as they tried to force it on me. Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross in this movie takes on a new role in the hierarchy of the government. Not going to spoil it. I think the movie does a fair job at giving him some depth, considering we have seen him incrementally in small spurts in the MCU outside of the Universal Hulk solo films. Not enough for me to care for the character and feel something emotionally when trying to understand his situation and dilemma in the movie, but enough for me to say, it works. With that being said, you won't see a lot of Ross, or the Ross that we're used to seeing in the past. He has his moments, but he's in a process of turning over a new leaf in the film. Let's just say that. Dare I say, I think Ross's character development and story inside the film was more interesting and better than Sam Wilson's. And it's Sam's movie. Speaking of Sam Wilson, in the movie he has a sidekick. Imagine a sidekick having a sidekick. Yeah, I said that. Now his sidekick is essentially the new Falcon. This character is aggravating, annoying, agitating. Everything about him, especially his dialogue. He's that constant, I guess you could say, quippy-ish character that talks too damn much and thinks he is funny with everything he says, and he just comes off as an annoying runt. He's beyond corny, beyond cheesy. I mean, corny cheese, cheesy corns. Without spoiling anything, unfortunately for us, it seems like this character will be sticking around the MCU for a while, as much as I want to forget that he exists. There's another character who has ties to Black Widow, who is basically Ross's bodyguard in the movie. Folks, this woman is tiny. I mean, a 5'3" twig. And some of the things she is doing in combat was just very unbelievable. You will need to channel your innermost suspension of disbelief watching this woman fight. Some of the things she was doing, fighting men that are a solid foot and a half, maybe even 2 feet larger than her, and probably 150 to 175 pounds heavier than her. I couldn't buy it. I couldn't buy what I was watching. For all her combat skills, all I would have to do was absorb one of her blows, grab her by the wrist, and yank her arm out of her socket. Or pick her up and throw her halfway across the hallway. Hell, maybe the full length of the hallway. That's how tiny this woman was. I mean, this chick should have broke her hand landing any punches on some of these guys. And she was just laying people out. As an actress, I guess she was fine, but the things she was doing were largely unbelievable. Giancarlo Esposito, one of the villains in the movie, he was basically himself, a badass bad guy in another form of media. Unfortunately, he is not in the movie a lot, extremely underutilized, but he's there just to move the story along as a plot device. Funny, reminds me of Bryan Cranston in Godzilla 2014, both from Breaking Bad, but underutilized in Godzilla. Hopefully we can see him again in a larger role in future MCU movies that's not named Captain America. Carl Lumbly's in the movie. He's basically the first super soldier ever. Not a huge role after beginning of the movie, but largely there as a plot device as well to move the story along. but he does well in this role, and his relationship with Sam Wilson seems genuine and believable. There are also some returning characters from previous films in this movie that I can't talk about without spoiling it. Some characters that I thought I would never see again in the MCU. And while I should be happy to see them, I'm actually sad to see them return in this movie, especially because they are integral to the story of a different superhero. But here we are. The action in the movie. Let's talk about the action real quick. Honestly, the action leaves much to be desired. I was not impressed with anything. The fight choreography was stale. It was basic as hell. Basic as hell. He is not doing anything cool with the shield. He throws the shield around a million times, with some ricochet action, bouncing off walls, bouncing off people, hitting multiple people with a generic catch. Nothing we haven't seen before, but less interesting in this movie. It pales in comparison to what Steve Rogers did in his films. Now, with that being said, I don't know if that was due to just crappy choreography design, or, think about this, or if it was done intentionally, considering that Sam is not Steve Rogers, therefore he pales in comparison when it comes to fighting skills, combat skills, and also a lack of having the superhero serum. He is not a super in any capacity. Either way you look at it, I find it to be an eyesore. I honestly felt like I could have stepped in and accomplished the same fighting choreography they put Sam Mackie through in the movie. The action sequences in the air when he's utilizing his wings, now enhanced with Wakanda technology, by the way, were definitely better than the grounded fights. How he used the shield in flight as a face-forward shield or a shield to protect his back was pretty cool. Much cooler than how he utilized it on the ground and also using it as a projectile mid-flight. Oh, his little robot bird, Red Wing, is back and much enhanced. It is basically full-blown AI. He doesn't have to control it from a wrist pad like he did in other movies. He can basically give it commands like Sunday or Jarvis, and the bird will go about and do what it has to do. Which I think is corny, because for one particular scene where the heroes are trying to break into an establishment, Red Wing made everything super convenient and took away from any suspense that could have been a part of that scene. Now, the fight with Red Hulk, which was a huge reason people are even going to see this movie, if we're going to be honest. Otherwise, I think many people would have passed on this movie without the existence of Red Hulk. The fight with Red Hulk was ho-hum. I had no expectations going into it, but again, predictable with predictable resolve. But pales in comparison to Hulk vs. Iron Man, that fight that we saw in Age of Ultron. The CGI for Red Hulk was fine, and they did a good job showcasing his powers and abilities, and the screen time with Red Hulk was adequate enough. As a whole, I thought the final fight scene was anticlimactic, but probably better than what the rest of the movie had to offer. Honestly, I'm not even sure why this movie is called Brave New World. Maybe I'm just surface level thinking here, and there is something I miss that some YouTuber with a greater mind than me can figure it out and make a whole nother video on it. Anyway, on a scale of 1 to 10, I give this movie a big old high 5. 5 out of 10. That's just my opinion. Hope you go see the movie. I hope you like it. But either way, you like it, you don't like it, you hate it, you love it, you're somewhere in the middle. Let me know in the comment section and let me know why. That's a wrap for today's episode. I appreciate each and every one of you for stepping in, showing your love, showing your support, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Now, I could sit here and smack you all around with the generic like, comment, subscribe BS, but nobody gives a damn about that. So do whatever the hell you want to do, because you're going to do it anyway. Now, I'm going to give you to the count of 10 to get your ugly, yellow, no good keister off my property before I pump your guts full of lead. I am Boo, and I am out.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.